I never believed in fate until the night my so-called friends decided to play a prank on me. What started as their cruel joke became the moment that redefined everything I thought I knew about love and second chances. If you've ever felt like giving up on finding someone special, this story might just change your mind too. Hey everyone, before I dive into what happened that night, if this story resonates with you at all, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything, and there are so many more real-life stories I can't wait to share with you all. I was 32 when it happened. Divorced for 3 years, working 60-hour weeks at a marketing firm, and thoroughly convinced that relationships were something I'd permanently crossed off my life's to-do list. My friends, particularly Jake and Mitch, had other ideas. "Dude, you need to get back out there," Jake would say almost weekly, usually while we were watching the game at his place. "I'm good," was always my response. The same 2 words, delivered with the same finality. My marriage had ended badly. 6 years with Elise, the last 2 of which were spent in a cold war of passive aggression and growing resentment. When she finally left, taking half our furniture and all of my trust in relationships, I made peace with solitude. Or so I thought. That Friday in October started like any other. I was wrapping up a client presentation when my phone buzzed with a group text. "Jake, reservation at Emilio's tonight, 8 p.m. Table for 2 under your name, Mitch, she's really excited to meet you, man. Don't be late, Me, what are you talking about? Jake, the girl from my gym. The one I told you about last week, Me, you didn't tell me about any girl. Mitch, yes he did. You were just half listening, as usual. Too late to back out now, I stared at my phone, trying to remember any conversation about a gym girl. Nothing came to mind. These guys were up to something, and I wasn't in the mood. Me, not happening. Cancel it, Jake, can't. Already told her you'd be there. She's taking time out of her schedule for this, Mitch, just go, have a free dinner, and if it sucks, you never have to see her again. I should have held my ground. Should have turned off my phone and gone home to my empty apartment, ordered takeout, and watched whatever mindless show would help me forget about work for a few hours. Instead, against my better judgment, I found myself walking into Emilio's at 7:55 p.m. The hostess smiled when I gave my name. "Your date hasn't arrived yet. Would you like to wait at the bar?" "She's not I stopped myself. Yes, the bar is fine." I ordered a whiskey neat and checked my phone. No messages from Jake or Mitch, which was suspicious. They'd normally be blowing up my phone, asking for updates. That's when I knew for certain this was some kind of setup. At 8:20, I decided I'd given it enough time. Whatever joke they were playing, I wasn't going to be the punchline any longer. I paid for my drink and stood to leave. "Excuse me, are you Alex?" I turned around and felt the air leave my lungs. She was tall, with dark curly hair falling past her shoulders, and eyes that seemed to shift between green and gold under the restaurant's dim lighting. She wore a simple black dress and looked slightly out of breath. "I'm so sorry I'm late," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Nora. Traffic was a nightmare, and then I couldn't find parking, and," she stopped herself. "I'm rambling. It's nice to meet you." Her handshake was firm, her smile genuine. I found myself sitting back down. "It's fine," I said. "I wasn't sure you were coming." "Why wouldn't I come?" She looked confused. "My friends, they set this up. I wasn't actually told about it until today." Her expression changed, a flash of something, embarrassment, maybe, crossing her features. "Oh. So you didn't want to meet me?" "No, that's not," I fumbled. "I just mean, they didn't actually tell me about you. I think they're playing some kind of joke." Nora's brow furrowed. A joke? What kind of joke? That's when it hit me. She didn't know either. Whatever game Jake and Mitch were playing, she was as much in the dark as I was. I'm not sure, I admitted. But since we're both here, we might as well have dinner, right? She hesitated, then nodded. I guess so. The hostess led us to our table, a small, intimate setting in the corner of the restaurant. As we settled in, an awkward silence fell between us. So, I said finally, how do you know Jake? Jake? She looked puzzled. I don't know any Jake. My roommate Tessa set this up. She said you were a friend of her boyfriend's. I felt a chill run down my spine. Tessa? Is her boyfriend named Mitch, by any chance? Nora's eyes widened. Yes. How did you know? And that's when we both realized what had happened. Our friends had conspired to set us up without telling either of us the truth. They'd created this elaborate scheme, probably betting on the fact that we'd both be too polite to walk out once we were face to face. I'm going to kill them, I muttered. To my surprise, Nora laughed. It was a warm, genuine sound that seemed to cut through the tension. Get in line. Tessa's been trying to set me up for months. I finally agreed just to get her off my back. Same with Jake and Mitch. They think 3 years is too long to be single. 3 years? She raised an eyebrow. Try 5. Divorce? I asked, before I could stop myself. She nodded. You too? Yeah. Another silence fell, but this one felt different. There was a shared understanding now, a mutual recognition of wounds still healing. Well, she said finally, picking up her menu, since we've both been manipulated into being here, we might as well enjoy the food. I hear the pasta is amazing. Something about her practical approach made me smile. I've always been partial to their risotto. Bold choice. Risotto is the ultimate test of a restaurant's skill. Exactly. If they can nail a risotto, everything else is probably excellent too. And just like that, we were talking. Really talking. Not the awkward small talk of a blind date, but an actual conversation that flowed naturally from one topic to the next. We ordered wine, then appetizers, then our main courses. We talked about our jobs. She was a pediatric physical therapist, our hobbies, we both loved hiking, and our shared love of old black and white films. By the time dessert arrived, a tiramisu we agreed to split, I realized 3 hours had passed in what felt like minutes. I can't believe I'm saying this, Nora said, taking a small bite of the dessert, but I'm actually glad our friends tricked us. Me too, I admitted. Though I'm still going to give Jake hell for it. She laughed again, and I found myself wanting to make her laugh more. There was something about the way her entire face lit up, the way her eyes crinkled at the corners. When the check came, we both reached for it. Let me, I said. No way. We both got duped into this. We'll split it. I couldn't help but admire her independence. My ex-wife had always expected me to pay for everything, even when we were struggling financially. As we walked out of the restaurant, the night air was cool and crisp. October in the city always had a certain magic to it, the promise of holidays approaching, the leaves changing, the sense of transition. Where are you parked? I asked. About 2 blocks that way, she pointed. I'll walk you. She gave me a look. I'm perfectly capable of walking myself to my car. I know you are. But I'd like to extend this evening a little longer, if that's okay. Her expression softened. Okay. We walked slowly, neither of us seemingly in a hurry to end the night. When we reached her car, a sensible blue Honda, we stood facing each other, that familiar end-of-date awkwardness creeping back in. I had a really nice time, she said. Me too. Despite the circumstances. Because of the circumstances, I corrected her. She smiled. Maybe. I took a deep breath. I'd like to see you again. For real this time. No friends involved. Nora studied my face for a moment, as if searching for something. Whatever it was, she must have found it, because she nodded. I'd like that too. We exchanged numbers, and I watched as she drove away, feeling something I hadn't felt in years, hope. The next morning, I woke to a barrage of texts from Jake and Mitch. Jake, well? Mitch, did you meet her? Was she hot? Details, man, Jake, if you're not responding because you're still with her, I expect to be best man at the wedding. I ignored them all. Let them stew for a while. They deserved it after their little stunt. Instead, I texted Nora. Good morning. Just wanted to say again that I had a great time last night. Would you be free for dinner again this week? Her response came almost immediately. Nora, I was just about to text you the same thing. How about Wednesday, And that was the beginning. We met on Wednesday at a small Italian place near her apartment. Then again on Saturday for a hike in the state park. By the end of the month, we were seeing each other 3 or 4 times a week. It wasn't all smooth sailing. We both had baggage, who doesn't after failed marriages? There were moments of doubt, of fear, of pulling back when things started to feel too real. Our first fight happened 2 months in. I had cancelled our plans last minute because of work, something I'd done twice before. Nora called me out on it. If you're not interested anymore, just say so, she said, her voice tight with hurt. That's not it at all, I protested. This client is just really demanding, Anne. Alex, I understand work is important. But so is balance. So is showing up for the people you care about. Her words hit me hard because they were true. I had always used work as an escape, a way to avoid dealing with my emotions. It had been a major factor in my divorce, though I hadn't been ready to admit it then. You're right, I said finally. I'm sorry. It's a habit I need to break. I'm not asking you to be perfect, she said, her voice softening. I'm just asking you to be present when you can be, and honest when you can't. That conversation changed something between us. It showed me that Nora wasn't afraid to call me on my bullshit, but she also wasn't going to walk away at the first sign of trouble. We were both committed to doing better this time around. 6 months into our relationship, I introduced her to Jake and Mitch properly. They were insufferably smug about their successful matchmaking, but even their teasing couldn't dampen my happiness. Told you she was perfect for you, Jake said when Nora was in the bathroom. You didn't tell me anything about her, I reminded him. Because you wouldn't have gone if I had. You needed to see for yourself. He wasn't wrong, which was the most annoying part. At the 1-year mark, we took a trip to the coast. Walking along the beach at sunset, Nora's hand in mine, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known was possible. What are you thinking about? She asked, noticing my silence. How different my life is now compared to a year ago, I said honestly. How much happier I am. She squeezed my hand. Me too. I never thought I'd feel this way again, I admitted. After Elise, I was convinced that part of my life was over. I know exactly what you mean. After David left, I built these walls around myself. I was so sure they were protecting me, but they were just keeping me isolated. I stopped walking and turned to face her. The setting sun cast a golden glow over her features, making her look almost ethereal. I love you, I said for the first time. I think I have for a while now. Her eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. I love you too, Alex. We moved in together 6 months later. It wasn't a decision we made lightly. We both knew the risks, had both experienced the pain of untangling lives once shared. But we also knew that fear was a poor reason to hold back from happiness. Our apartment became a blend of our separate lives, my books mingling with hers on the shelves, her colorful throw pillows brightening up my neutral furniture, our coffee mugs side by side in the cabinet. It felt right in a way I couldn't fully articulate. There were adjustments, of course. Nora was an early riser who liked to exercise before work. I preferred to sleep until the last possible minute. She was meticulously organized, I tended toward controlled chaos. But we found our rhythm, learned to compromise, discovered the joy of building a life together one day at a time. On our second anniversary, I proposed. Not with a grand gesture or public display, but quietly, in our kitchen on a Sunday morning. Nora was making pancakes, her hair piled messily on top of her head, wearing one of my old t-shirts. She looked beautiful in that ordinary, everyday way that still took my breath away. "Marry me," I said simply. She turned from the stove, spatula in hand, her expression surprised. "What?" "Marry me," I repeated, pulling the ring box from my pocket. I'd been carrying it for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. Then I realized there was no such thing, or rather, that any moment with her was perfect in its own way. She set down the spatula and came to stand in front of me, her eyes searching mine. "Are you sure? After everything we've both been through?" "I'm sure," I said without hesitation. "Maybe because of everything we've been through. We know what doesn't work. We've learned from our mistakes. And what we have, it's different. It's real." She took the ring box from my hand and opened it, her eyes widening at the simple emerald surrounded by tiny diamonds, a ring as unique as she was. "Yes," she said, her voice steady and sure. "Yes, I'll marry you." We were married 6 months later in a small ceremony with just our closest friends and family. Jake was indeed my best man, a fact he never let me forget. Tessa was Nora's maid of honor. During his speech, Jake couldn't resist reminding everyone of how we met. "Some people need a little push," he said, raising his glass. Or in Alex's case, a full-on ambush. But sometimes, the best things in life come from the moments we didn't plan for. Looking at Nora in her simple white dress, her eyes bright with happiness, I couldn't help but agree. The joke date that had been meant to embarrass me had instead given me the greatest gift, a second chance at love with someone who truly saw me, flaws and all. It's been 5 years now since that night at Emilio's. We have a house in the suburbs, a golden retriever named Max, and a 2-year-old daughter, Lily, who has her mother's curls and my stubborn streak. Life isn't perfect, we still argue sometimes, still have to work at communication, still have days when the baggage from our pasts feels heavier than others. But every night, when I climb into bed beside Nora, when I feel her warmth against me and hear her steady breathing, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the joke that changed my life. For friends who knew what I needed before I did. For second chances and unexpected beginnings. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that sometimes the best things in life come disguised as pranks, as inconveniences, as moments we'd rather avoid. Sometimes fate has a sense of humor, and the joke turns out to be the greatest gift you never knew you needed. So if you're watching this and feeling like you've given up on finding someone who understands you, who challenges you to be better while accepting you exactly as you are, don't. Keep your heart open, even just a crack. You never know when your joke date might turn into the love story you've been waiting for. If this story touched you in any way, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything, and I can't wait to share more real-life stories with all of you. Until next time, remember that sometimes the best punchlines are the ones that change your life forever.